moment, feel the physical body. So notice the sensations where there might be some stiffness, tight places, held, stuck places, as well as open places. Begin with stirring the energy in the torso. So start to rotate through the torso, maybe taking 3 turns in one direction and reversing it when you feel complete. Opposite when you're ready. Coming back to center. With an inhale, lengthen through the spine right to the crown of the head. And with an exhale, move the energy down. We'll take a few turns of the neck. So starting very slowly with some very small circles to begin. In the opposite direction. And to widen as you feel comfortable. So the chin can lift up, taking the head into the space behind you, and then the chin to chest, ear towards shoulder, moving mindfully and stopping if you need to in a certain place to take an extra breath. Your way back to a nice neutral neck. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. We'll start with, I'm going to take my right hand first and just lift my seat and sit on it. So I'm kind of just taking a scoop, sitting right on my hand, and then letting the left ear come towards the left shoulder. So you'll feel a little pulling sensation along this right side. We'll take 3 breaths here. And then move the neck in a way that feels good for you. So you might find a certain place where it's just right and you can take an extra breath there. One more breath. Sometimes it's a micro movement in the neck. Exhale and release. And then we'll do the same thing on the second side. So just place the fingers right underneath your seat. And then the right ear moves towards the right shoulder. And feel that gentle pull. And then move the neck in a way that it feels good for you. Be very subtle. Inhale deeply. Exhale, release. And pause in neutral. So find a nice neutral neck, long spine. Deep breath in all the way to the crown of the head. Exhale, release and move the energy down. Do one more here in seated. We'll take a simple seated twist. Doesn't matter the direction. We'll take one hand to the opposite knee. Just see what moves you first. So whichever side you pick is perfect. Inhale, lengthen, and then begin to twist through the torso, gently gazing off the shoulder. Exhale here, spin all the way around to side 2. So the hand grabs the knee, You prop yourself up, inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Gentle gaze off the shoulder, 3 breaths. Exhale and release. Coming back to neutral, pause for a cycle of breath here. Inhale and exhale. Let's move to a hands and knees position. So keeping the blanket handy if it supports you and putting it underneath the knees. I'm going to open mine up a little bit. Knees and hips are in alignment. Shoulders and wrists are in alignment. And let's come to that place where you just put a little bit of weight, rocking the weight into the right wrist and the left. Stay right here with the fingertips pointing towards the front of your space. If you want a little bit more, you can turn the fingertips towards the outside edges of your mat and continue to rock side to side. If that's too much on the wrists, you can come to the original shape. Big breaths here. Turn the fingertips towards the front of your space. And we'll do a few cat cows here. So lowering the belly, lifting the chest, the gaze. Inhale deeply. Exhale, round through the spine. Tailbone starts to drop towards the earth. And then work with your breath. Inhale to open. Exhale, round. Stay with this linear movement if this feels good for you. If you want to invite a little something different, you can start to push into the hips. Find a barrel roll, move back into the space behind you. And again, a little bit of weight into the wrists if that feels okay. See what feels nice for you. Back to tabletop, really engaging through the core. So feel the lower belly button engage towards the spine. And go ahead and take the right foot back in space. So curl the toes and rock a couple of times. So getting into the toes, the heel, and the calf. Here, lift that heel up into the space and then go ahead and start to bring it over to the left. Curling the toes under, you can gaze towards the toes if that's available for you and rock a few times here. Feeling a nice stretch along the right side. Inhale, lift the heel. And then exhale, return the knee down. Same thing, second side. So first, just with the rocks, curl the toes under, rocking forward and back. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Inhale, lift that heel, engage the core, and then start to move the foot over to the right, gazing over the shoulder, and then rock a few times here. And that stretch along the left side, nice. Exhale here. Inhale, lift it back up. The knee comes back underneath the hip. And then we'll go ahead and take the knees maybe as wide as your mat for a child's pose. So your wrists and arms might need a break. You can just lift them up for a moment and do a few circles with the wrists if you need that. And then see if the arms want to be extended or down by your ankles. And hold here for a few breaths. Sensation of moving the energy down. And inhale, come back up through the tabletop. And your hands can be a little bit in front of you here. Knees can start to walk back. We'll take our first downward facing dog. So pressing into the palms, go ahead and lift the hips high and find a little movement here so it feels nice for you. Maybe dropping one heel and then the other. Sometimes it's nice to drop both heels off to the left corner and then lift high on the tippy toes and move the heels over to the right corner. A few breaths, be playful here, see what feels good in the body. Press into the palms any amount more. Push the hips back. Knees can bend quite a bit here for a moment. Find some length in the spine, and then the heels will come down. It does not mean they have to touch, but they start to descend towards the floor. Find a few breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Exhale here. We're going to bring the knees back down. So you might find your blanket. Observe a cycle of breath here. Inhale, exhale. And we're going to move the right foot between the hands. So sometimes that means they come way out here and you have to kind of walk them forward. And sometimes they swing through no problem. Either way is fine. Go ahead and find your blocks if they're handy. So the left knee is on the mat or a blanket. And I'll find a few rocks back and forth here. So coming high and low a few times. So just getting into the joints, working with the breath. Inhale up. Exhale, start to come into that left psoas. One more time in this rocking motion, and then we're going to hold. Hands can be on the blocks or on the knee or lifting. It's up to you. Roll the shoulders back, settle the gaze, find 3 breaths. That exhalation, get the sense of moving the energy down. Exhale here. Inhale, we'll come up. You can move the blocks out of the way, and we'll come back to the tabletop shape. Just taking a reset breath here in tabletop, engaging through the core, pressing into the palms. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. We'll find side 2. So sometimes the leg swings through easily, and sometimes it gets stuck somewhere. So just move it forward, find the blocks, and then find that rock and roll forward and back. A few breaths. Sometimes the hands will come off the blocks and then touch down. To the top of the right leg. Hold. So settling into the pose, you could be on the blocks, on your knee, arms can lift. See what feels nice for you. Settle the gaze for 3 breaths. Inhale, start to rise up. You can move the blocks off to the side if you use them. We'll come back to our tabletop, so get there however you get there. And we'll just find a reset breath here. So pressing into the palms evenly, the knees engaging through the core. Top of the head grows long towards the front of your space. Go ahead and move the hands forward about a handprint or downward facing. So lift the hips here. And feel free to move the blanket out of the way for a moment if it is there, because we're going to move our feet forward in a minute. So really push the hips back, press into the palms, engage the breath. Navel draws in, exhale completely, and then take as many steps as you need. Inhale, walk towards the front of your space. We'll lengthen, and then exhale, fold. Head can be heavy. You can shake it out a little bit, yes and no. If you like, you can grab opposite hand to opposite elbow for a ragdoll shape. You can keep your hands on the shins or the floor. You can even sway a little bit side to side, getting into the hips. Knees can stay bent. So I'll bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, lengthen halfway out. Exhale, bow. 2 more times, just like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in, press through the feet. Inhale, rise up. So go nice and slow. Arms can start to lift when you're ready. Palms press. And then exhale, pull the hands down the center line. And let them land right at your heart space. Pause for a few breaths here. Checking in with your feet. So sometimes we give favor to one side or the other. See if you can find that equanimity throughout the feet, engaging all sides, energy moving through the legs to the core, all the way up the spine to the crown of the head. And let's work with the breath here in standing. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, pull the energy down. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, pull the hands to the heart space and settle in for a cycle of breath. Become aware of the palms pressing together, the feet connected to the floor, the texture underneath. Breathe freely. Inhale, reach the arms up. Go ahead and let the right hand grab the left wrist. Reach it up any amount more and start to come over to the right side of your space, growing long on the left side. Eyes can close or gaze can settle. Find a few breaths here. Inhale, reach up, let the fingertips grow towards the sky, and then switch sides. Grab the right wrist, reach it up, and start to arc over. Feel the expansion through the torso. Find your breath. Fingertips reach towards the sky. Turn the palms away. And let the hands float down. So feel the energy through the fingers, the movement through the space. Once the hands reach the side body, go ahead and roll the shoulders so the chest opens. And then with your exhale, move the energy all the way towards your heels. So feel that engagement with the floor. Take one hand over the other. So I'm going to do right hand first, left hand over that. And then start to move. So up the right side of the belly, across, and then down the left for a few times. So just a gentle energy belly massage. Breathing the whole time. So see if you can inhale as you come up. Exhale as you move down. Moving with your breath, so you don't have to be in sync with me. This is a nice practice to do when you feel the stress moving up into the chest, bringing some awareness into the belly. And then we'll release that action and then go ahead and just feel the effects. So palms are open and start to notice the sensations, the energy, the movement. It's okay if you don't feel anything at all, but when we tune in, sometimes we can notice what's happening. Deep breath in. Exhale completely. Move to the top of the space, keep your blocks handy. As you're ready, inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, start to forward fold all the way down. You can grab the legs for a moment, let the head hang. Inhale, lengthen halfway out. And then from here, bend the knees, plant the hands, step only the right foot back. And if you need that blanket again, you can pull it in for the knee. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Pause for a few breaths here. Exhale, hands come down to the floor or your blocks, and we'll start to straighten through the front leg. So kicking through the heel, the toes spring up. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, bow, which doesn't have to be a very big bow. Come to a place that feels nice for you. Notice the sensation in the back of the leg. Deep inhale here. Exhale it out. And then inhale, we'll lift the chest. Take that foot, place it down. You can move your blocks forward to prepare for your next side. And find a runner's lunge if it's available. Lifting the knee, gazing forward. And that same rock and roll we did with the knee down expression before, you can find that here. And with your inhalation, start to step. Exhale, bow. We're going to go right into the second side. So inhale, lengthen halfway out. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, step just the left foot back. Knee lowers, supported if it needs it. And then find your blocks if you like those, or go right into lifting the arms up. Settle the gaze, settle the breath. Exhale, find your blocks or the floor. Start to move the hips back over the back knee, and that front foot will spring up. Inhale, find length first. So grow long, and then exhale, bow a little or a lot. See what feels right for you. Settle the gaze and drop into the breath. Exhale here. Inhale, lift through the chest, grow long. Step that front foot down. You can move your blocks forward and find your runner's lunge. So back knee lifts. Observe a cycle of breath here. exhaling completely. And then with a little forward and back motion, find an inhale to step, and then exhale bow. Inhale, rise all the way up. Reach the arms up overhead, palms press. Exhale, pull the hands to the heart. Pause and feel. So again, check in with the feet, the engagement of the legs. Let your exhalation be a little longer to move that energy down. And just start to transmute anything you don't want to carry, let it move out and away. Step just the right foot back. So coming into a warrior two shape with the legs, and then reach out, and we'll play with this shape and a flow a few times. So as you're ready, the left knee is tracking over, but not way in front of the toes, so just over the ankle. And then inhale, reach, exhale. A few times like this. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, we'll hold here in a warrior two shape. Roll the shoulders back. Breathe deeply. And here, we're going to take a big step forward so you can bend into that front knee and step. Hands will come to the heart center. And whichever side you did, we're going to do the opposite. So bringing your second side, foot comes back. And then just check in with your space. So the knee isn't way over the toes, but it's more over the ankle. Finding that warrior two shape. And then we'll flow in the shape a few times. Inhale and then exhale. Hold here so you can gaze over the front finger nail and reach through the arms, engage through the core, relax the shoulders down the back, full deep breaths. Moving from this shape, bend into that front knee any amount more, and then step. Hands will come to the heart center, pause and feel. Just start to notice where the breath is moving, where you feel open, what might feel stuck or stagnant. And go ahead and step the right foot back. So we're going to come to a wide-legged stance here. The big toes will kind of point in just a little bit, heels bump out. If you know you like your block, you can have a block handy because we'll have our hands on the floor in a moment. Roll the shoulders back, inhale, lift the gaze, and then exhale, bending at the hip creases. Start to move the heart forward. And then the hands can walk down the legs. So sometimes they stop right at the shins. And then sometimes the floor is available or the block. Bringing the hands out in front of you. So just right in front of your face. Inhale, lengthen any amount more. And then exhale, bow. And let the back of your neck be long here for a few cycles of breath. So you can really get to move the breath here. So you might feel it in the upper back. Pressing the palms, inhale, lengthen halfway out. And then with your hands either on the block or the floor, place the right hand down right in front of your face, pretty much. And then we'll inhale, reach the left arm up for a twist. So the hips are going to want to become unlevel. See if you can bring them back to equanimity so that the twist is coming more from the torso. And do whatever feels right for your neck. So find a few breaths here. Exhale, release. We'll replace the hands, so placing the left hand down in my case. Hips stay as level as they can. Inhale, start to reach up. So the movement, the twist comes from the torso. If the hips get very unlevel, see if you can bring some weight back to the other one. Breathe. And then exhale, release. Both hands touch the earth or the block from your shins. Inhale, lengthen halfway out. Exhale, hands to hips. So drawing the navel in, engage the legs. Inhale, rise all the way up, slow and steady. Roll the shoulders back. Pause for a cycle of breath here. Exhale to move the energy down. We're going to turn the toes out, heels in, so the opposite of what we were just doing, and come into a goddess squat shape, sometimes called horse stance. And the hands will come either high on the thighs or a little bit. I always kind of press down on the patella, so I'm not pressing on the knee. See what works best for you. And then pull the chest forward, so getting nice and long through the spine. With an exhalation, doesn't matter which shoulder goes first, you're going to twist and drop a shoulder to the midline, gazing over the opposite. Inhale back through center. Exhale, side two. Find a few rounds of this with your own breath rhythm. So you might slow it down or speed it up. It's totally fine. Finish here. So inhale in the center. See if you can reach those arms nice and long. Press through the feet, and then we'll come into our star shape. So you have to reach out into all corners of your space. Big breath here. And then exhale, let the hands float down. You can toe heel the feet underneath you. And then turn towards the front of your space and we'll play with balance. So let's do a tree shape today. And whichever side you want to start with is perfectly fine. Start to think about which leg wants to be fired up first and start to move the energy into that standing leg foot and then draw the energy up. Hands can start on the hips if that feels good. Externally rotate the lifting leg and then a little or a lot. So it's a balancing posture if your toes stay on the floor and you're practicing here. If you practice this and your balance is good, you can start to lift the foot up. And then the hands can come to the heart space if that feels available to you. And it's okay to be a little wobbly and to waver. It's okay to find a wall or a chair. Keep the breath steady and even. Slowly start to exit the pose. So see if you can move through the pose slowly without dumping out of it. It's sometimes there and sometimes not. And then we'll find side two. So take that moment to almost visualize the pose first. Start to root through the feet, fire up the muscles in the leg. If you like to start with hands on hips, sometimes that can give you some grounding energy, and then start to move into the shape as you feel ready. And again, a little or a lot. Sometimes our balance is right there, and sometimes it's a little challenged, and it's good to practice all the times. unpack the shape. So move out of it slowly, keeping your mind on all the aspects of the pose. Feel when the foot comes back to the earth plane, and then give yourself a little wiggle and squiggle and just start to move it out. Sometimes it's even nice to shake the legs out just to move the energy. Facing the front of the space, I want to play with this idea of energy a little bit more. So you can bring your hands together, give them a little rub, and then start to separate the palms, and you might feel a little warmth, a little movement. Eyes can close here or a soft gaze, and we'll, with our inhale, start to move the arms away, spreading out as far as your arm span. And then exhale, move the hands towards each other again, seeing if you can find that little ball of energy. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, reach. Span the arms out. And then exhale. And compress that ball of energy, and this time bring the hands together so the palms touch, and then move that energy right towards the heart space, moving it right into the heart. So observe a cycle of breath here. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And move again towards the top half of your space. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold, let the head hang. Inhale, lengthen halfway out. And then from here, bend the knees, plant the palms, go ahead and step the right foot back. So you're in your runner's lunge shape. And then we're going to bring the knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, hands will come down, but just the right hand is going to stay down. And then start to lift the left arm for a little knee down twist. If you love this shape and you want to lift the back knee, you're welcome to do that, or leave it down. Both are fine. Breathe here. Exhale, release. If the knee is down, go ahead and lift it. And we're back in our shape where we'll do a little forward and back. And with an inhale, step. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lengthen halfway out. Hands can be on the shins. And then exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step just the left foot back, lower the knee or not. So the left hand will stay down. We're going to reach the right arm up for that knee down twist. And if it feels right for you, you can lift that back knee. Find a few breaths here. And then exhale, release, move forward and back. Action. And then we'll step. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise all the way up. So think about that ball of energy that you're gathering. Palms will press, draw it into the heart space. And observe a cycle of breath here. So just feel the energy from the slow movements to some of the more dynamic movements. See where there's a stirring of energy or none at all. We're going to come to seated. So we'll come to a long-legged sit. Hands behind you for a moment. And just kind of shake out the knees. First to staff pose. So the hands can be right by your hips. Roll the shoulders back and gaze down the tip of your nose towards your heart for a few breaths. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, come forward. So only as forward as it feels good for you. If you start to roll into the space behind you, sometimes a lift with a blanket feels good, or a bend in the knees. You can have your hands on either side of you or grab the shins, whatever you've got. Breathe. Exhale here. Inhale, start to lift up. We're going to take the hands behind us. Lift the chest so the chest is nice and bright. Bend the knees so the feet might be as wide as your mat. And then find that windshield wipe shape. Keep the chest lifting here. Come to a cobbler's pose or Baddha Konasana. So the soles of the feet will be together. I like to take my finger pads behind me and lift into this a little bit, rocking side to side. That feels good for you. You can catch the outsides of the feet, thumbs in the center. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, only come forward as it feels right for you. In fact, some people prefer to keep their hands behind and just keep lifting the chest. You can still move the energy down in that shape. So see what works best for you. One more breath here. Exhale it out. Inhale, start to lift through the upper body. We'll keep just the left foot in, so bring it a little closer into the groin, and then the right leg will extend. Turn the torso towards the straight leg. Inhale, find length, and exhale, fold. It doesn't have to be a deep fold. Just come to a place that feels right for you, where you can still find a free flowing breath and some dynamic stretch in the back of the leg. Stretch through the rib cage. Exhale here. Inhale, rise up. Switch the shape to the second side. Bring the right heel towards the groin. Turn the torso. Find the length as you twist. And then frame out the straight leg. Inhale and exhale. Keep the length as much as you can. Breathe. Exhale here. Inhale. Start to rise up. And then move on your space so that you can come onto your back. So catching the backs of the knees sometimes is nice. Roll down nice and slow. And then we'll bring the arms out like goalposts or cactus arms. Knees can come into the body. And then go ahead and let the knees fall over to the right side. And if it feels comfortable for you, the chin can turn towards the left. To notice where I feel this in the spine or the low back and bring my attention there and then see if I can draw my breath to that space. Start to draw the knees in towards the torso again. Exhale, make your way to side two. Little adjustments are sometimes necessary. props if you need them. Turn the chin away if that feels appropriate for your neck. It's okay if it's not. And then again, draw your attention to where you feel this and let the breath move there. Exhale completely. And then inhale, knees come to center. You can catch each kneecap with a palm. And then as we start to move into the meditation component of practice, see what you need to do first. So sometimes it's a happy baby shape or a bridge pose. Fish pose is nice. Whatever you need, start to move in a way that feels good for you. The meditation and settling in, decide how that shape needs to be for you as well. So if it's a seated meditation, if it's Shavasana, do you need a bolster underneath your knees? Do you need your socks on or a sweater? And then take care, just as we did at the front of practice, to notice. So if you're in Shavasana, are your hips feeling level? Do you have to give them a little wiggle so they really settle to the earth? Are your shoulders level? Is your belly soft? Check in with the jaw, the throat, the skin and muscles of the forehead. And soften where you can. Do the palms want to be face up or down? Or to notice everywhere? To imagine for a moment, whether you're seated or lying down, that you're in a beautiful meadow space, feeling quite relaxed. And a little ball of playful energy is starting to move towards you. And this little ball of energy is for your highest good. So it's only here to support you. And when you see it and start to engage with it, it brings a sense of playfulness and a kind of calm softness through your body. So the swirling energy starts to swirl at the crown of the head. And it swirls down through the upper chest, the heart space, moves down and around through your torso, your hips, all the way down your legs and your feet. And it's going to take with it whatever energy isn't supporting you. And don't worry, because it's going to be able to transmute it and bring it back to the earth. So what it's left is a little ball of light. And this little ball of light is somewhere in your body, in your thumb, your pointer finger, your big toe, your heart space, doesn't matter. And with a few breaths here, start to grow that light.